guys, Happy New Year. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Today's live stream is going to be super fun. So what I'm going to do is go through all of my plans for 2025, and I'm going to start off with like the quilts that I haven't finished that I started in like 2023. And then I'm going to move to stuff I started in 2024. And then the ending is going to be like all the things you probably don't know about. And we used to do this kind of in the fall, but now I think it's going to be much better. We're going to do this every year, the first live stream of the year. And so it will be more accurate. And just so you know, everything I'm going to talk about today is on the blog. So if you have a question on what I'm sewing with or more information, just go to the blog that was posted today or yesterday, January 2nd, 2025, and it will have all the information. So we're trying to make it very organized so that if you want to know what I'm doing, there's a place for you to go. Now just know these are my plans, but every year I change. So I might tell you, oh, I'm working with such and such collection, and then I start it. I usually will keep with that, but I might add to it. I might change it. You know, there's things that might change. So just remember that it's, you know, me just sewing in my sewing room, and I reserve the right to change my mind, even though it only happens a little bit. But I hope all of you had a good New Year. It's such a weird, like today I feel like it's Monday. I am so off on my times. My kids don't even go back to school until next Wednesday. I'm like, can you please go back to school, please? I haven't even finished all my Christmas. My family is coming in town today, so we're having Christmas tonight and tomorrow. So then I'm hoping to be able to put all my Christmas decorations away and kind of get my house back tidy. So anyway, I am going to kind of jump right in. I'm very excited about today's live stream. We put a lot of effort into it. Shout out to Denise, Marissa, everybody behind the scenes, Kylie, so that we get everything. We try to make sure we got everything super organized so that you always have a place to come back to. So we're going to start off with yesterday online. We put the Cupid Box, and just want to let you know that is online for pre-sale. It's a mystery box, and just from the outside you can see how cute it is. Brittany designed the box. It's super cute. It's going to ship in January, and it'll have an exclusive pattern. It's just super cute. I know you're going to love this one, but I did put it online yesterday, so just wanted to show that to you. Okay, so now I'm going to start off with my book, and I changed my book a little bit. You're going to notice that I changed it a little bit. I decided to take out the dividers because I took the dividers out because after so many years, everything was just kind of getting out of order. So I took the dividers out, and I'm really not paying attention to the number, but I'm just kind of going in order. So I'm going to show you like I said, I'm going to go oldest to newest. So my first quilt is the Bitty Brick House. So this is a completely free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. We started with Brick House in 2021, and then we made Bitty Brick House in 2022. And then there's also a Jumbo Brick House or Big Brick House, something like that. But I still haven't made that. But I started this back in 2022. And I'm making this scrappy. So I'm going to show you my blocks. And I have made, I have 6 left. So I have made whatever 42 minus 6 is. I have 36 blocks done. So I will be able to finish this one this year. So on this one, what I did was each block is scrappy. Each block is a different collection. My cornerstones I have not cut yet. Those will be scrappy. It's going to be super small. It's going to be, this one I am doing the sizes wrong because I'm doing 6 by 7. So I'll fix that. But these are my blocks. Some of these you've seen before. Some of them are new. And each of them have a different background. So I just used a white on white, whatever white on white I had. If there was one in the group, I used that. If not, I pulled from different groups. So I'm making a bigger version of this. And I will have to figure out where that, so see, this started such a long time ago. I don't even know. I have all of it saved in my electric quilt software. So I will figure out where that layout is and figure out the size. And one thing that I found challenging with this design is, I love it, but it also is just challenging. Let me lay them out and then I'll tell you so I don't get all confused. The challenging part of this quilt is you really need a lot of different fabrics. Now see, this one I don't love because see how cream it is? Maybe it'll be okay, but this one might not make the cut because of the cream right there. It's a little too creamy. And you can't really see it on camera. And that's kind of what will happen is I'll make some quilts and then I'll be like, okay, let me take some out or put them on the back. This one also has really cream to it. Okay, so with this design, what I needed to be able to make a block from a collection is I needed 5 different colorways. So color 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of fabric these days has 3 colors. And so I ended up with blocks that look like this, which I do not think look good. So this one probably won't make the cut. And that's okay. I will make a ton of blocks and then take out what I don't like. But necessarily, I just feel like this does not look good because I feel like it loses the design of the door. This light fabric, this probably won't make it. So this one, my challenge, and the reason it's not done, is because only some collections work with this design. Same thing with the regular brick house. You have to have a lot of colors. So this one will get done this week, this year, not this week, this year. And I will eliminate some blocks. This one has been super fun. It's just limiting because you have to have so many colors. And a lot of fabric these days has low volume, which I did use in this block, but I don't like it. I think this looks so much better than this because my door shows up. So it's kind of one of those, you just kind of learn as you go. Thank you to Autumn Hollow Patchwork. She says, Kimberly, you're so good at motivating us at the beginning of the year. Let's do this. Yes. Yeah, I love sharing with you guys what I do, and I do try to tell you, you know, what works, what doesn't. Like this, I just don't love the cream, and you can't really see it on camera. And like this one for sure won't make the cut. But it's fun. I can always just make a pot holder out of it, or I could just make one little block, put a little border around it, and just make a mini quilt. So I won't throw them away. So don't be worried about that. I won't throw that away. So that's Bitty Brick House. And I put on there I started January 1st, 2023. The next quilt is the 25 patch. And this one I have 7 blocks left. And one thing I did last week is I really went through and tried to figure out my layout so I would know what's left. So I decided on a 6x7 layout. I decided my cornerstones will be 2.5. My sashings will be 2.5 by 10.5. I'm going to have an inner border that's 2.5 cut and an outer border that's 6.5. So what I did is I kept track of what collection I used, and like I said, I'm going to use 30 blocks. I'm at 23. I need 7 left. So I'll show you my blocks. Now this one, this is kind of the same thing. Sorry, I'm about to drop something. Sorry. On this one, I did use low volume sometimes, but this one I also kind of ran into the same thing. It was hard to find groups that have 25 different colors that aren't full of low volume. So you can see I put some low volume, some backgrounds in some of these, but I struggled with small collections. Like if it has eight SKUs, well, obviously can't make a block. And so I do have a plan for smaller groups, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Because I try to use, these are just quilts that I try to just use if I have a charm pack or You know, sometimes I have leftover fabrics from videos, and these look messy. Like looking at this, it just looks like a hodgepodge. But once I put together the quilt, it's going to look good. Now, what's going to be important for putting the quilt together is going to be the number one thing about this quilt that's going to make the biggest difference is going to be what fabric I pick for sashing. If I picked a cream, it's going to get lost. I need to pick a white that is super bright so that it stands out against all of, you can kind of see that better. So it stands out against the fabric. So I am going to probably use 20708-36, which is a white on white dot. And it's also going to be super important to lay out my blocks to where, like for example, these two are Camille fabrics. Let's see. These two are fig tree fabrics. To try to put the designer's fabrics away from each other, these two are my So Quilty Life. So obviously I've used a lot of the same designers. So I will make sure I space it out. I will try to put like light fabrics against dark fabrics so that when you're looking at the quilt, all your lights are not together and all your darks are not together. This one I started in, let me look at my book. I started in October of 2023. And like I said, I have 7 blocks left. I think all of these will make the cut. So that's good. And with that size, it's going to come out. Oh, I forgot to write it down. I can add it to the blog. But I kind of figured out, you know, how many, but this is just one of those things. These blocks take maybe 10 minutes, maybe 15. But on this one, we did get some questions on how to make the block. And we are going to do a blog post. So there are instructions so that you can make the block. One thing I did want to point out is these two are the same exact print, once cut on the diagonal, so that it gives it a different look. You could do the same thing because, you know, you just don't want everything to look so matchy-matchy. Let me see if I found another one that I did that with. Like this one, I turned this one sideways so it looks different. I'm trying to see. This one I don't love. I think this one's a little too busy. I think the scale of the prints are too big. I'm trying to find some that have different placements. But yeah, you can just switch, like see that's cut on the diagonal, this one's cut on the straight, just to make it look different. So the little squares are 2.5 inches square. So what I do is I take a stack of my fabric and I just put this 2.5 inch square Creative Grids ruler on the very corner of the fabric, cut it, put it together, and we're gonna do in the blog post where I show pictures of, like basically I'm gonna sew it together in my sewing room and then have them photo how, because I do columns. How do I find the blog? The blog is Jolly Jabber. So just search and Google Fat Quarter Shop Jolly Jabber or go to fatquartershop.com, and in the top right of the site it says blog, and you can link that blog post so that you can go back to it all year. And so these just all finish at 2 inches. You could do the same thing with 3.5 inch squares, 1.5 inch squares. This was just a way to use up fabrics, and you know, you usually have a 2.5 inch square left over, especially from a Fat Quarter Shop kit. So that's that. So those are my 2 scrappy ones. Now we're gonna move into quilts that are where my blocks are done, but the quilt is not. So this one is the temperature quilt. This is my drawing for my backing on how I'm gonna do the backing. So this is, let's see, this is a free pattern that we released at Fat Quarter Shop in December 2023. So this was different temperatures of the day for all year. and I have all 12 of my blocks done. I'll flip through them. This used the Flower Girl Flower Girl collection by Quilty Life. The background right here is Bella 9900-182. These two fabrics are color 40 and color 180 of Bella. And these fabrics right here are the ones that were by Quilty Life. So some of the months just use, one. Some have the tree, and the tree ends up being one of the temperatures. So this one, Teresa's gonna go ahead and assemble it into a quilt. And she put the months so that we would know where they go in the quilt. We don't have to go back to look. And so this is a great time if you want to make a temperature quilt and you've been looking for a pattern for 2025. You can download that for free at Fat Quarter Shop, and you can use any collection. What you need is 20 different fabrics. And with this one, basically what ends up is you use a lot of some and fewer of some, and so you might end up where you need to buy more fabric. This one is my backing fabric. This is my backing block. And what I did is up front, I made this using each of the different fabrics, and then I put a little label in here from Sweetwater. And then the way it's going to be pieced is this little house block is going to go right here, and then I've written for my backing what I need to cut so I can piece it in. Thank you to Katie Sasher. We appreciate all you do. Your team is great, inspiring. Thank you. And I think this is the second year I did a temperature quilt. I'm not planning a temperature quilt for 2025, but that's what I did for the last 2 years. And this is something you could just pull 20 fat quarters from your stash. You could, pull, if you have some browns, from your stash. Any of these that I'm showing you, don't feel like you have to buy something. Try to use up your stash or figure out a way to use what you have. Thank you to Deb Brooks for the super chat. Now this next one I'm so excited for. Okay, this was probably the hardest quilt, or the most tedious. This is the vintage Sunburst quilt along pattern, and so this was designed by Lori Holt. It was an 11-month quilt along using the foundation paper pads for these blocks. So there's a 12-inch and an 8-inch, and these are the only two sizes that these come in. So this is a free pattern, but you do need 2 pads of each. I used the Mercantile collection. I actually used all of this fabric right here. So if you go to the blog or you go to our site, you can download this. This is exactly what I used. I did not change anything. So, and then throughout the year, I just kept track of what I was doing. So there is a video on, this one's gonna be 64 by 88. There is a video on how to make the vintage Sunburst blocks. Each month, this one is my label. I could barely get it to fit. And I thought if I put it in here, it would kind of, I thought it would take away from the fan. So I kind of played around with how I should do the label, and that's what I came up with. And we're gonna put this one in the bottom right of the quilt. So this one, huge shout out to my son Will. He, for every block, laid out the fabrics, and he is so glad this quilt is done because he hated it. And it's the reason he hated it is because I was trying to save fabric when I originally cut everything. So I didn't cut enough because I was like, oh, I won't need all that. And then I kept having to cut stuff. So these are the 12-inch. And then these are the 8-inch with a border around it to make them 12 inches. And these, Lori loves this quilt. She keeps telling me that she'll buy it from me. And I'm just like, I'll just send it to you. I don't need you to buy it from me. But it was so fun to make. This one is very, I would say the word would be therapeutic. If you're stressed out, there's a lot of detail in this, and it kind of works out your stress. And that, Jordan, you want to zoom in on that so I can take a sip? If that doesn't relieve your stress, I'm not really sure what would. Oh, Denise put a funny comment. She said, I think this would add to my stress. It might. Now this one I did finish last week. And they're kind of all over the place, because I just finished it. And there are four different backgrounds used within the blocks. Now this is something you could do as a scrappy quilt, but you would need bigger pieces. You know, these aren't too big, but the other blocks, you need a big chunk of fabric. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the size, but I did finish this last week, and I was so excited to finish. Because I really, with this one, this is kind of the quilt that you can't just run in your sewing machine. You can't just run in your sewing room and just sew a little bit and put it away. You have to really, really take your time. Like, you have to really think about it. So this is one, and this is all using foundation paper. It's not a specialty ruler. It's just, it's Soema foundation paper. These are designed by Lori Holt. And I love the block because it's really hard, but to get this effect, there's really no way to do it. This fabric, I believe, is still available. This is the Mercantile collection by Lori Holt. If the fat quarter bundle is sold out, it will be back in stock soon. So, oh, let me show those at the end. Those are the bad ones. I have some bad ones. I'm going to show you a little story about the bad ones. But yes, this was a labor of love. And I do think when I get it quilted, I'm going to save it until the end of the year so that I can show it to you in my end of the year recap. And then I'm going to mail it to Lori because she wants it so bad. She's asked me like 3 times. Okay. So one thing I want to talk about with quilting is, don't feel like once you start something, you can't restart. I started this in January 13th of last year. And you'll see that these blocks all are pressed open. Well, I tried to make the blocks not pressed open. And I made the first 2 blocks. This is probably also why I ran out of fabric. And this is where I didn't press open, and it's very lumpy. So with that, I kind of felt like it might break the needle of the long arm quilter because it's so lumpy. So you can see the difference in the 2. I just made it work. I just figured out a way to make it work. Now, did I waste fabric on these? Yes. But these can go on the back of the quilt. Like maybe one can go on the back of the quilt, you know, one can turn it into something else. Now, Billy Lou is asking if grunge would look good as the background, and I think it would. I think anything that will contrast your inside fabrics. Now, a great question from Mary Beth. I saw that you used a glow cutting mat. Does it make using paper piecing easier? I'm going to do a whole live stream on that this year. Denise is going to schedule it, but that thing is amazing. For full transparency, they called me and said, I want to send this to you for you to try. And I said, okay, great, but no, I can't promise you anything. I'm not going to, you know, you're sending it to me because I do not like for companies to call and say, please promote this. That's not how Kimberly Jolly works. So they sent it to me about 6 months ago, and it's sat in my closet. And I started using it last week. And I mean, I even had to get Kevin to come in the room and show me. And he's like, this is amazing. I'm like, if I had this 10 years ago. So I have been using that like crazy. But in full transparency, they did give it to me for free for me to try. I got the size that's like 13 by 18. It's the smaller size. There's like a jumbo and then a regular. But it has a light. And I was also very concerned that I might break it because when I'm going, I'm going. There's not a Kimberly Jolly slow motion version. There's just not. When I'm going, I'm moving and I'm like, la, 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 la. So I kept having to move it like from my table, off my table, and it was very sturdy. So you want to go that way? Sorry. Okay, what iron do I get crisp seams? Okay, this is another thing. I use the Laura Star iron, the Laura Star University. Where is it? Oh, it's on the screen. Jordan says, I can't see that far. Sorry. Thank you, Jordan. Now, I will tell you I burned myself last night. Let's see if I can find it. I burned myself right there with that iron. So you got to be careful. That iron does this thing where steam can come from the bottom. And I usually don't use that. But for Christmas, Christopher got these 2 frames to put his jerseys in. And when in middle school, they let you keep your jersey. In high school, they don't let you keep yours until you're a senior. So Peyton didn't get one, and I was kind of upset about that. But there was nothing we could do about it. So Kevin framed his jersey. Well, it was wrinkled. So I used that thing where the thing comes up and sprayed. Anyway. I started using it for quilting. I burned myself. So just be careful. Thank you to Millie Fessler. I hope everyone had a super enjoyable holidays. I did. I think it was kind of weird how Thanksgiving came so late. Okay, this next one is Mercantile Sampler. So it's the same collection by Lori Holt. There is a quilt kit available to make this. Now, this one should have been done. Just like the last one, they should have been done in 2024, but I didn't finish them. So kind of at the end of the year, it's a great time to just regroup. What have I not finished? What do I need to finish? What do I need to focus on so that things don't get lost? So I'm going to finish this, I promise, this year. This is kind of at a weird spot. Let's just say that. So these are the blocks right here. They're all pieced. They're all, and this is a free pattern on, let's see. It is a sew along guide pattern, free on our site or Riley Blake's site. The instructions are on Lori Holt's blog and YouTube channel. So these are the blocks, and these trays, these are just melamine trays that we got in, and they're just a great size, and I've been using them. What I've been doing is using these when I'm done with blocks, and then as I'm making blocks, using my design boards, and then I'm having to go get my design boards out of the closet less and less, which is nice. Thank you to Megan Russo. Thanks for all the wonderful quilting ideas. I'm planning on doing the Star Climber Scrap Challenge and already cutting up my scraps. Yay! I'm going to show that one in a little bit. So this quilt was really outside of my comfort zone. Lori was like, I designed it just for you because she knows I don't like applique. So I have made all the blocks. What you do when you make the blocks is you add a border. This is the border right here. There's a video on this. The video is called Kimberly's Applique for Mercantile Sampler and Celebrate with Quilts. Quilt Along, Sew With Me. You can watch that video. I tell you exactly what I do. It uses her interfacing. And this is the 14-inch size, and then it uses the 12-inch circle ruler, which I kind of feel like you do need it. And you basically watch that video to see what I do. And then you take that, you make 4 patch blocks. So this honestly is where it was last time you saw the video. I haven't done a thing. Well, actually, I think I did do some circles after that video. So you take a 4 patch and you put this on here and then you sew it down, and I have one done. And here it is. This is the one I did on video. So guys, I have it, and then you trim it down. So I honestly, in full transparency, I did these since the video. Like, made the circles, flipped them. It's actually very easy, and for me to say that is something because I am anti-applique. You can call me AA, anti-applique. It's just a thing. I don't enjoy it. It's kind of like what Denise just said. It gives me anxiety. So these are my 4 patches. So I have my 4 patches, I have my circles, and I have my blocks that need to be circles, but this quilt will probably be done in May or so. It's got a long way to go, but just so you know, I don't finish everything right away either. And this one also had a learning technique to it. My very first block, I used too much glue and I ruined the block. So this one, just like the previous one, I did one block, figured out what worked, figured out what didn't work, and then went from there. And I did do this as machine stitching, and I just used Aurifil Color 2000. And this one is definitely time consuming, but it's a free pattern. Okay, the next one is the Hometown Holiday Sampler. There is a quilt kit. There is the pattern, either paper or PDF, designed by Lori Holt. And this one was in August 20, I don't think that's right. August 23, oh, August 23rd. On August 23rd of 2024, I did a Sew With Me stream and gave tips on how to tackle this quilt up front. So this one, there's a kit for the front, there's a backing set, and there is a pattern. And this is where my blocks are. These are my letters. They're not in order. I don't even know that they're, let's see. Hopefully, okay, there's a W, a B. I'll just do this, and that way if there's any mistakes, y'all can tell me. C, D.
This is A.
Oh my gosh. They are in order. Okay. At least you caught it. A, B. Okay, let's do 3 at a time. Oh my goodness. A, B, C. D. I'm a dingbat. D, E, F. Oh, well, that's what I get for starting upside down. G. This was very fun to do because these are just little squares and it's just patchwork. And I talk a lot about how I made the blocks in that live stream. Each quilt that I approach differently. I think about what is going to be the most enjoyable, but number one, what is going to be the most efficient? Because for me, the more efficient I am, the more I can make. This M is pretty big. M and N, those are pretty big. And the live streams, all of those live streams I'm referencing will be linked in the show notes, but also you can go back to them and they're also linked for you in that blog post so that you can easily get to them. And this uses the Hometown Holiday Collection by Lori Holt. And the last 3 quilts I've shown you are all designed by her. I kind of sorted my book also kind of by things that are similar. U, V, W, X. Hopefully there's no mistakes in these. I don't think I've checked them. Y and Z. Now I know my ABCs. And then, okay, so this pattern is broken up. And I don't have the full pattern in here because it's just too much paperwork. So this pattern is divided by letters and stars and blocks. So that's kind of how it's divided. So I have made a couple of the stars, kind of like the beginning of the star section. I have made a lot of these little friendship stars, I think is what they're called. And I followed exactly, the pattern is very clear on what fabrics you use. And then these 2 stars. Now this is the start of the next block. Who knows where I'm at in that, but what I do is in my area where I'm sewing, I keep notes. So this is probably something where I had to make some things and I ran out of time. And when I come back to it, I'll have notes and I'll know exactly where to pick up. That's actually a joke because that might be true and it might not, because I can't remember a dang thing. And sometimes I try to leave notes, but I don't always. But this is kind of, where I'm at with it. It'll get done by probably May. Will the decorating the tree quilt pattern be released separately from the kit? That is a Riley Blake pattern. They usually come out with those maybe a year or 2 after. Okay, the next Lori quilt, I am caught up. It's going to finish in March. So this is our sew along guide, and this is what I'm following. And so we do have a quilt kit, and we have a, you just order the backing 5.5 yards separately. This quilt is unique because it uses a lot of collections by Lori. It uses B cross stitch, B basics, B dots, B plaids, Calico, Cookbook, Hometown, Mercantile, Prairie, B vintage, and confetti cotton, and it's all hand-picked by Lori. This is the very first book that we published for Lori about 10 years ago, and we wanted to have a 10-year celebration of the book. So that's what this is. So these are my rows, and I'm going to show them just diagonally. So what I did do is I made this piece on the end longer. I'm going to cut those down when I get to the end. So see how much that is bigger? I actually haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to figure out how to trim it down, but I will figure that out when I get in my studio. Now this one, I love this quilt. I love it because it's not the same block over and over, so I love the originality of it. And these fabrics are starched like crazy. I could just throw them and they would just land. Do you ever notice when you starch fabric, the more stressed out you are, the more starched your fabrics are? That's a thing. Sorry. The other day, I double starched something, and because I can talk about it, but in a minute, I'm going to show you some stuff that I use fabrics that's like really old, and I wasn't sure if I starched it or not, so I restarched it and came back the next morning, and I was like, oh, this is way too much starch. Let's see. Josie says, I would need a housekeeper, dog sitter, chef to keep up with Kimberly. I try to sew something every day, but life happens. So I do have a nanny for my kids. All she does is pick them up, though, and take them to and from school. She does, like, she goes and takes my laundry. She gets our prescriptions, that kind of stuff. I definitely don't have a chef, though. And I did make, oh my gosh, you guys are going to be so proud of me. I made lasagna on Christmas. And it was so good, but I don't think my family liked it. But it was so good. I thought it was like the best thing ever. I don't think Kevin liked it. He didn't want to say. He's very picky. That's the reason. That's why I don't cook. But it was really good. Like, I made it from scratch. It was really good. So, and just keep asking your questions. I'm going to get to all of them. We're going to save all of them, like all the ones. I'm going to answer all of them. So this is Quilty Fun. So we have quilt kits. The book, you need the book for instructions. And I've obviously made this one already, but I'm making it a second time. And it's 10 years apart, so I kind of feel like, it's fine. Okay, for starch, I use Faultless. I'm grabbing it. Denise is grabbing it. This is what I use. I do not get paid by this company. You get it at Walmart or the grocery store. We also sell at Fat Quarter Shop Faultless that's non-aerosol, and you can buy it by the jug. It's pretty expensive either way. So you can either get this at the grocery store or you can get the kind that you can dip your fabrics in. But I do love this. Yeah, so my lasagna, I basically needed to let the sauce like sit a little bit longer. So next time I make it, I'll know. I did not use sausage, but I'd used venison. And I don't even know if venison is the same. I use beef and venison. Is venison sausage? I don't even know. Deer. Well, that's what I used. Whatever Whole Foods had. And then Kevin was like, he's like, why did you get this? This is like organic. Why didn't you get the cheaper stuff? And I was like, because I was at Whole Foods. And he's like, why did you go to Whole Foods? And I was like, because it was the day before Christmas and HEB is like a madhouse. And I'm like, I didn't want to go to HEB the day before Christmas. Okay, the next quilt is Strawberry Garden. And this, you can find this on the blog. It has the fabric requirements. And this is the quilt. This is designed by Joanna Figueroa. I was in the block of the month offered at Fat Quarter Shop, and that's what I'm using to make mine. It is now sold out. The collections that we use are Jelly and Jam and Eyelet. And this, for this one, you need the book. And this one, I'm just right on track. So each month we kind of gave you, basically we ship it to you. It's still shipping to people. So I'm on track. And I'm going to show you my blocks. They're in no particular order. We're saving all those questions, right? Okay, because there's a lot coming in. And I feel like if I start reading them, I'm going to go crazy. But yes, and yeah, but Kevin was like, you should have, because, you know, Whole Foods can be super expensive. But they have, okay, so Whole Foods has these cinnamon rolls that they make fresh. And they come in this big pan, and they're like this thick. And the reason I went there is to get those. My kids love them. So, and the Whole Foods is right by my house. HEB is too, but we have like an old HEB. And it's not very organized, and it's kind of hard to find stuff. And the recipe I used was just, I Googled it. It was, what's the lady in Oklahoma's name? Pioneer Woman. It was her recipe. And if I would have followed it exactly, it would have been great. But I was like, we need to eat. I'm hungry. We're going to take the sauce. And I didn't let it simmer enough. And on these blocks, I just followed the book exactly. I didn't make any changes. Doesn't mean I won't in the future, but. Oh, and this quilt I'm pressing open. Let me see. Yeah, sometimes I press open on quilts, sometimes I don't. This one I love though, because it's so, this one's going to hang in my bedroom. So I have I have a quilt ladder in my bedroom that has 3 fig tree quilts on it. I'm gonna replace one of them with this one when it's done and quilted. This one's really pretty. And then this one was kind of this one took quite a bit of time. So that's Strawberry Garden. So this one I'm on track. So that's good. I'm not behind. So you can see some I'm behind, some I'm not. And this one, what I try to do is just set aside like 2 or 3 hours each month. And that way, you know, I can get it done. Okay. The next quilt is the Quilted Scarecrow by Lori Holt. This was our sew along schedule. This one is a pattern. You can either get paper or PDF. And I bought the kit and the backing set. Actually, the backing set's not available yet, but I bought the kit. I'm waiting on the backing set. So here's my blocks. I think it's fine. You can leave it there. And this one, I followed the book exactly, the pattern exactly. I didn't change anything. So if you see something changed, it was a mistake or an accident, basically. And I love that about Lori's patterns is you can tell exactly where she puts the fabric, and I just copy it. I don't have to think too much. So these are like the little leaves. Are these leaves? I think they're leaves. Acorns, I don't know, whatever they are. I think they're leaves. Jordan, are they leaves? He doesn't know. He said yeah, but he kind of doesn't know either. We don't know. I guess we could look at the pattern, but I don't have it in front of me. Oh, I do. It's right here. Let's see what it says. Tiny leaf blocks. And you can see I do keep notes. I do keep notes in my stuff. So these are my tiny leaf blocks. So I'm basically on schedule with what we put online. And this one's a little bit different. This one, some months take 5 or 6 hours, some take like 8. So this one is more detailed. The more detailed, the more cutting, the more time it's going to take. And this quilt, I am going to, in fall, I'm going to put it on the back of a couch. I think what I'm going to do is, I have so many big quilts that go on the back of the couch, and my kids never mess with them. It's like the one quilt that they won't mess with because they know they'll get in trouble. So with that, I'm going to try to do something where I change it out every month, like on the first of the month, and then just have like a rotation. Those tiny leaf blocks could make a temperature quilt. They could. So same thing, I just copied her pattern for fabric placement. Love this quilt, I love the fabric. And let's see, yeah, this one I'm also pressing open. Now this next one I'm going to show you, but it's going to look funny. This was the easiest thing to sew though. Okay, so this is like the head, the body. This is like one of the arms, one of the other arms. Here's his hands. And I don't honestly know what this is. Oh, these are his thumbs. That's right. These are his thumbs. I don't know where they go. Anyway, now, and then all I have left is like the body. Like I have to go down. And then this one, after I get it quilted, I'm going to add eyes to it. The name of this quilt is the Quilted Scarecrow. Oh, I forgot to show. This is like 2 different blocks. Okay, the next quilt is the 2024 Designer Mystery. So if you have received your blocks and you want to see them, look, this is obviously a mystery, but I love these blocks. I love this collection. It is the My Summer House by Bunny Hill collection. So I'll show you my blocks. They're 12-inch blocks, and we do have like maybe 8 spots left if you still want the blocks. I think we have maybe 9 finishing kits left. We do have quite a bit of backing sets left. So if you signed up now, it would you would just get everything from the beginning. This is my favorite block right here. Were you a quilter before you started your company? Yes. Did I invent the fat quarter? No, I did not invent the fat quarter. That's a huge scarecrow. Yeah, it is. I was kind of thinking like, how's it going to fit on my couch? I don't have a wall though. So this one's super cute. I love that it's just, you know, simple, fun to make. And each of these blocks are designed by a different motif fabric designer. Okay, the next quilt is the Dragon Fruit block of the month. Okay, I got caught up last week. I got a little behind and I got caught up. And these are so fun to make. I do not love modern fabric, but I love making this quilt. Now, I'm gonna give this quilt away because this would not fit in my house. And I have to be honest. We are sold out of the program, and this was something that we did that was so awesome. Basically, the pattern was only available to the people on the block of the month. The layout, there were specialty pads that went with this. It's a whole thing. So this is month 2, I think. I don't know. No, this is month 1. These are month 1 blocks. I hope there's no mistakes because I have not checked it. And this is month 2. And these were the ones, month 1 I had last week. I think I had to do these blocks. And then I had to do all of these. And I did them pretty quick. And the blocks, if you're participating, just so you know, it goes from like smaller to bigger. So obviously this is going to take a lot more time than this. So it's really nice that the hardest ones are done. And then as I go, it's going to get a little bit easier. But yeah, this is a fun quilt. And it kind of, you know, makes me do something a little bit different. The next quilt is Brightly Sampler. So this one you can see I sewed ahead. I'm totally done with it. The blocks. I'm only going to show you the blocks though that we've shown so far. And let's see, Brightly Sampler. So this is a sew along, and it is being hosted by us and Sherry McConnell and Chelsea Stratton. This is their book, and it is published by It's So Emma. So basically, you can download this right here from Fat Quarter Shop. It tells you exactly what you need. And I always put the little, the dates in here and then check off as I go. I'm done, but I'm only going to show you what I did so far. I kind of do mass sewing, and I did that the last couple weeks. I was like a mad woman. And so each month you make 2 blocks. So like 1 month you would make 2, and then 1 month you would make 2. I think it was a lot easier to just do 4 at a time. So when there were, I just would do 4 at a time, not 2 at a time, because it was just easier. You know, you could just kind of cut all of them at one time. I did use a foundation paper to do my square and square. And I only remember that because I did them really recently. There is a quilt kit for this. And obviously the book. And I'm using, I don't think I've changed any of the fabrics. If someone's asking for us to zoom in, but it would be really hard to zoom in and then see all the blocks because these blocks are huge. You can watch it in replay and then zoom in later. Okay, so that next one is Star Climber. Okay, so this one I'm super excited to talk about because this is the first time I'm talking about it. This is our 2025 scrap quilt. It's a free PDF. So this one, I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. So basically you would go to Fat Quarter Shop and download this free pattern. Now you do need the courthouse steps and the woven star paper. And you're gonna be using the 4-inch size if you make the table topper. And if you make the quilt, you use the 6-inch size. So I'm making 6-inch, and we just give you fabric requirements. This is something that is meant to be scrappy. So it's meant to be pulled from your stash. You could do this like I did the Bitty Brick House or the 25 patch, where you just do it over a couple of years and it's eventually done, if that makes sense. And you just mix and match. But what I decided to do this year is Lori Holt came out with bundles that are called B Bundle Limited Edition bundles. And there's a colored one and a background one. So what I'm going to do, and I made these 2 weeks ago, I'm going to use layer cakes. I think that I'll probably need 2 or 3 of each layer cake, but I prefer to sew with layer cakes because they're easier to starch and dry. So I have made 8 of the woven stars, and I loved working with the woven stars and the paper. That's why I added another quilt to my list, and I'll show you in a little bit that quilt. These I did not press open. I just pressed to one side. These were real fun. These are so fun. Wait till you see what I made. It's so exciting. And then these are the courthouse steps. And for this one, kind of what I did is, you know, I wanted to make it, but I thought, you know, let me kind of get the rhythm of what's going to be the most efficient. So I just made 1 block of each to start, just to see like, how's it going? Make sure I, you know, cut everything the way that I wanted. And then I went back and made all the courthouse steps at one time and all my woven stars at one time. I got addicted to the woven stars, and I will show you what I'm going to be doing with that. But this one, so the B Bundle Limited Edition, there's fat quarter bundles and layer cakes. One is colored and one is the backgrounds. And so if you're going to do that, you need to start with the fat quarter bundle, actually, because the layer cake does not have enough fabric to do this piece right here. So I did some funny piecing to make it work. So I don't recommend that. You definitely need to start with the fat quarter bundle, so don't listen to me on that. But that's kind of what I do. See how it looks different? It's obvious. But I had to do some funny stuff to make it work. So, and nobody's going to care. Okay, so that is the woven star paper. And like I said, I got addicted to it, so I added another page. And this is why I don't have the dividers anymore, because I like to keep everything. You cannot make the star climber without the papers. That's why we made the papers, because, well, actually you can, but we don't have instructions for it. It would be like a flying geese. It would be a flying geese and a crazy hourglass and corners. It'd just be a lot. So I'm making them with the papers. So what I decided to do was I started making blocks. And these were the fabrics right here that I had just made other things with. Oh, actually right here, maybe these. Oh, I made 2 of those blocks. I can't remember what order I went in. But basically, I made 23 blocks in like 2 days. So what I like about this versus the 2 scrappy blocks I started with, which are the Bitty Brick House and the 25 patch, I like this better because I only need 8 fabrics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm trying to not use any low volumes in here. I am using one background right here. The background is 29146-11. It is from Coriander Seeds, and it came back in stock yesterday. So when you're looking at these blocks, I went into my stash, and I keep all of my stash divided by designer. So I have all of Layla Boutiques in a couple of bins. I have all of Corey Yoder's in one bin, etc. Camille's. So I just pulled out and I cut fabrics. And see, these two have duplicates. Who knows what I was doing? I thought they were all different collections, but I just pulled from bins, and some of the collections might have been in there twice. And I made all of this in 2 days. And then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with them. So I just, this is just something where I loved it. I thought it was fun. And I was like, you know what? Let me use up some more scraps. And I did tell you earlier in the year, in 2024, I was like, oh, I'm not going to do Scrappy in 2024. I'm not going to do that. Well, guess what? I am. So 4 of these blocks were made from things that are new. The rest all from my stash. And the background is from my stash. It was already in my stash for something else. I hadn't used it, so I pulled it out. Now, I'm obviously going to have to buy more. So when I was doing this, I thought, well, I need a quilt layout. So I went to my book library, and Lori Holt, some of her Scrappy books have layouts that use 6-inch blocks and 12-inch blocks. So I flipped through like Farm Girl Vintage 1, Farm Girl Vintage 2. I just flipped through a lot. And so I flipped to this page, and I was like, this is going to be perfect. So these are going to be my blocks. Kind of have some notes on here. And each block is going to be 8 fabrics with that background. I'm going to need 80 blocks. I'm going to need 99 cornerstones. So I will have to cut those also. I'm going to need sashing and border. Now, on this, the biggest thing is going to be what is going to be my sashing and my border. I could do something really dark. I could do something medium. I don't know what I'll do. So we'll have to see at the end of the year what I end up doing. I do think what's really good about this one is I do think I'm going to be able to finish this in 2025 because you only need 8. So that opens it up to where I can use more collections, and it's charm pack friendly. And the Woven Star is charm pack friendly on either the 6-inch size or the 4-inch size. Another thing I'm going to do is later in the year, well, I'll probably do it sooner rather than later. There's a lot you can do with this to where you could do the same fabrics here, like reds, blues, greens, yellows, and it would be like a 4 stars, like 4 fabrics instead of 8. You could do every other fabric, or you could do like these 2 fabrics the same, these 2 fabrics the same, these 2 the same. So I'm going to play with my scraps, and I'm going to do some blocks in the 4-inch size with different fabric placements to show you. And that obviously would work with the 4-inch or the 6-inch. I'm going to do it in the 4-inch just because I've already used a lot of my scraps and I don't have that many left. But there's so much you can do with this paper. And there is, this comes only in 4-inch and 6-inch. It does not come in 12-inch yet. We might do it. The reason we haven't done it is the paper would be this big, and paper right now, the cost is so high that it would just be so unaffordable. Okay, so there's my blocks, and let's see how many. Those are so fun. These are so fun. So fun. Love them. Can I see my drink real quick? 'Cause I'm thirsty. Sorry. I gotta take a drink real quick. And the Woven Star paper, I can tell you we're very low on inventory. We have more ordered, and it's gonna come in February. So if you don't get them today, you might be waiting. Okay, the next quilt, we need 12-inch. Okay, I can have Jocelyn look and see. I just don't know that. I don't know that it would be, I think it's price prohibitive unless we divide it into triangles. So we could maybe think about making it like a triangle package. So we'll look into it, but I cannot promise you anything on that. The next quilt along, I'm so excited. It starts this month. It's the Cali Co Mystery Block of the Month. It is hosted by Corey Yoder, and she always does something fun every year. And I always try, if a designer is willing to work with me and tell me up front what I need to buy, because I do everything all at once. Like I kind of make the quilts all at once. And if the designer is willing to tell me what is in advance, I can do it. So Here's the fabric requirements you need. You would download this from Coriander Quilt's blog. I'm using the same fabric she's using. So let's talk about what she's doing. She's using the Cali Co Fat Eighth bundle. She's using all of this. So just download that. That's what she's doing. So I'm doing similar but different. So and all these patterns will be free on Coriander Quilt's website. She is going to be sharing monthly video tutorials on her YouTube channel, which is Coriander Quilts. So I would follow her there. Now, what I like to do on these when I work with Sherry McConnell or Coriander Quilt is I make the quilt, but I make it a little bit different. Because if I just made it the same, I wouldn't be adding anything inspirational to you guys. It wouldn't be giving you anything additional that you didn't already have. And I want you to always come to Fat Quarter Shop channel to find something different, to think outside the box, to figure out a way to change it up just a little bit so that it fits you the way you want it to. So, and please keep asking all the questions. I love all these questions that are coming in because they're great questions that I do want to answer. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, we have plenty of Fat Eighth bundles and we have plenty of Fat Quarter bundles. We have a lot. They're going to sell out because this is going to be popular. This is really cute. I can't show you, but I've seen it and it's really cute. And when I say cute, I mean real cute. So you're going to want to make this. Now, of course, you could pull from your stash. You don't have to feel like you have to use her fabric. She's not going to mind if you use your stash. You could use one of her other collections. You could use anything, but she's so lovely and she has a great YouTube channel, great channel about organization. I mean, her and Sherry, they're just phenomenal. So I can tell you that I started with this and I started sewing and I did not use these two colors, the purple and the brown, the gray. Now I saved the gray. I gave the purple back to work, which means I give like all my purples back and I don't know what we do with them, but I don't use them. So I'm not gonna throw them away. I didn't use these. There is a lot of low volume and I did use it, but I didn't use it too much. So the way I'm doing it, you need the Fat Quarter bundle. So if you're gonna make it her way and follow her, you can do the Fat Eighth. If you're going to look on Instagram and see what Marissa posts there, you're going to need the Fat Quarter bundle, but you're going to have a lot of fabric you don't use. So it's going to be up to you what you want to do. And I think you're going to really like this. I think you're going to love the quilt. I'm really looking forward to it. So I just wanted to kind of show you like her option, my option, and I don't want you to feel like, oh, you know, Kimberly hates her purple. No, Kimberly just doesn't like purple at all. And when I started working with the blocks, I cut everything. The first video, she's gonna show you how you cut the whole thing up front. And basically, I just was laying them out and I was like, I don't like these fabrics for what I'm doing. So you do you and you decide what you like. Okay. So that is the Corey Yoder 2025 Mystery BOM, 1 block a month. Here are her release dates. This is from her blog, website, all the things. It does look kind of pink. It's pink purple, but it's a little too purple for me. I have seen the quilt, but nobody else has. And the reason why, and that's why I was saying designers that will work with me and send me stuff up front, because I take one day and I make the entire quilt. That's the only way I can bring you these live streams, is to just be very efficient. And if I have to wait for the designer to put it out and then sew it, I wouldn't be able to keep up on time. So a Quilting Life 2025, I have made hers for years and years and years. Her first block is coming out on January 6th. So today's the 3rd, 4th, next Monday. So next Monday, she is going to release block 1. She has already, okay, this is Sherry McConnell of A Quilting Life. Her website is aquiltinglife.com, and you can go there and this is your fabric requirements. There are 3 size options. I'm not going to go over it because I don't want to tell you incorrectly because I don't know all the details of this. What I do know is what I started with. Now, what I end with, I don't know. So, I started with the Raspberry Summer Fat Quarter Bundle. It's this collection. So, that's what I started with. In my stash, I had Laguna Sunrise Bolt. It's 37685-31. It's a Sherry Chelsea. So this is the current collection. This is the previous collection. No, this one's coming out in February. This one is out now. But to make this, I don't have the background from this collection because it's not out yet. The Moda will give each store, you can buy one bundle in advance. It's called a sample spree purchase. So I don't have the background. So I'm using Raspberry Summer Fat Quarter Bundle for mine, and I'm using a Laguna Sunrise background. And you can see I haven't picked binding, backing. Now, that doesn't mean I have not seen this entire quilt, and I have not made this entire quilt. So I can tell you, I might add to it. I might take away from it. We'll see what happens when I start sewing. The next one, is the 2025 Riley Blake Design Challenge. So I did put all the kind of yearly together. Now, this is something that's been done for a couple years now. Okay, Riley Blake Designs, they give a free quilt pattern each year. And you can go to their website now, and it has the layout of the exact quilt. Now this year they did it different. In the past they didn't show the quilt in advance. This year they did, and they showed it in solids and batiks. But like I said, when you come to Fat Quarter Shop, I'm not going to make it exactly like them because there would be no reason for you to come and watch what Kimberly does if I didn't do something that adds to your listening experience. And I want you to always come and be inspired in some way. So my best friend Lori called me, like she always does, and she's like, I'll color the quilt for you because I'm amazing and I'm going to color it for you. So her and Sarah works for me, colored this quilt. Yes, it's so pretty. And so this, I'm starting with the Peace and Plenty Fat Quarter Bundle. And all the fabrics I'm starting with, the exact yardage. Everything you need is on our blog right now. That blog was posted last week, and today's blog post links directly to it. So that's what I bought, is exactly what's in that post. Now, that's a guess, because nobody's made the full thing yet. So it's a guess of what to start with. It's what Sarah estimated. Now, I can tell you all of the fabrics that are listed, I have plenty in stock. Now, in 2 weeks, I can't promise you I'm going to have plenty in stock, but right now, I made sure that there was plenty in stock. I do think this quilt would look really good if we added a rickrack trim in the binding. So I'm going to consider that. Now, you basically go to these designers' websites to get the pattern. The pattern for the finishing will be on Riley Blake's site. The patterns for each block will be on Riley Blake's site. Lori did change one block. For the block she changed, Sarah did a diagram that we are going to attach to our blog post. That will be week 3. So if you want to do what Lori did, it's not full instructions, but it is enough to where you can, figure it out. So I printed this little paper out. Now, another thing, I changed it. Well, actually, Lori changed it for me. She knows I don't like purple. I just don't like it. I'm never going to like it. Now, my daughter's going to TCU, so I'm going to have to wear purple, and that's fine. I'll wear purple to support her, but I'm not decorating my house in purple just because she's going to TCU. I can't go that far. Plus, I didn't go to college there. I'm not one of those people that just goes absolutely crazy. So she colored this, thankfully, with no purple. So if you buy the bundle, you're going to have extra purple. But thankfully, she did that because I'm not putting purple in there. So that starts January 14th. All the information is on Riley Blake's website. Vintage Christmas. Oh, this is so exciting. Okay, this is the Vintage Christmas Quilt Along. Okay, so I have exciting stuff to tell you about this one. Okay, this Quilt Along started January, so it starts this month. Each month you will be making, is it 4 blocks or 5 blocks? 4 blocks a month. You're going to use the Vintage Christmas book. This original fabric collection, some of the SKUs are available still, but not all. So Lori has a new collection called Hometown Christmas, Hometown Holiday. So she colored this quilt right here. So let's talk in detail about this. And we have received some feedback and we have made adjustments based on your feedback because we are always trying to make your shopping experience and what you see online, we try to make it as seamless as we can. So we're going straight through the book. We're starting with block 1 and we're just going through the book, and all that information is on our website. You just print this out. I've made January and February. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you January and February blocks in no particular order. Now there is a quilt kit for this that's available, and the backing set will come back in stock in a couple of weeks. Now, one thing people were frustrated with is you couldn't see the exact fabric placement. So what my team is going to do is I'm going to make the blocks, and I'm not going to promise these are, I don't remember which are which because I made these a while ago. Let's just pretend these are January's. Oh, they are January's. Thank you very much. They're going to take a photo of all 4, and they're going to put January, and then you can click into it and you can make the image as big as you want or as small as you want, and then you can make your blocks exactly like me. Now, I have made January and I have made February. I have not made anything past that. But we will make sure for right now, they're going to link January and February now because those are done. March 1st, they'll put up my March 1st blocks. April 1st, they will put up my blocks. So basically, and if it's on a weekend, they'll do it like the day before, the Friday before or something. I'm not going to make them work on a weekend or anything like that. But then that way you just go to the Vintage Christmas block that we have already written, and at the bottom, they're going to attach it. And you just save that, save that bookmark, and then you can go back to our blog each month and follow along with me. And by doing it, by giving you these 8, you get ahead. And then by giving it to you the first of the month, I think that's great, and I think that's a great quilt along. And then the fabrics that I used in this, Lori picked, and they are all in a quilt kit. And there's 2 different backgrounds used. Some are dark, some are light. On our blog, The Jolly Jabber. And everything that you're looking for in this will be on our blog. We are making our blog a reference point for you guys so that anything that you need, you can go there to look. Okay, hold on a second. I need to take some drinks. Okay, so now we have moved into things I have not started. Correct, right? Okay. So now this is stuff that I've either started or something. I've done something. I've either I've done just a little bit. This, I've done nothing. So these are things I probably haven't talked to you about before. The Quilted Snowman is a pattern that came out in the fall of 2024. And we're doing a sew along. It is a Lori Holt pattern. You can buy the pattern as a PDF or as a paper at Fat Quarter Shop. This is our schedule. I have not touched this. So by January 25th, I have to have a lot done. Now, if you want to do this, we have kits, we have the pattern. I'm going to show you the way I start a sew along. I use these huge art bin boxes. We have a whole stack of them to the right. It would actually be good if Marissa took a photo of that and put it on social media so you could see how we store them. So the pattern is in here, the sew along information is in here, and everything is starched. So this is what you get in your kit. All this fabric. Now, to be transparent, Teresa starched all of this for me. Thank the Lord, because we actually have reached a compromise in our house, and now the room that I used to starch is now one of my son's bathrooms. He wants a new bedroom. He thought that Emma going to college, he could just have her bedroom, and I was like, well, that's not exactly how that works, but you can have this bathroom. So I actually do not have the shower area to starch anymore. I don't have it. So it's great that I have Teresa to help me with this. Now I'll start this in January, and I'm just gonna follow along with this, and I'm gonna probably just do each month at a time. So I'll probably, when I start this, I'll probably do January and February all in one day, and then going forward just be a month ahead. Where do we find the visuals each month? You go to the Jolly Jabber blog. Everything will be in the blog. And there is a post called the Vintage Christmas Sew Along. You find that, you bookmark it. It would be cool if the kits were already starched. I mean, seriously, that would be amazing. It's funny how many people don't starch, though. A lot of people don't. Okay, the next one is the Prairie Home Sampler Quilt Along. So Lori Holt's newest book is Prairie Home, and so she designed a sampler that uses blocks from within this book that we're going to do a sew along with. The sew along starts in March and goes through March. So March 2025 to March 2026. This is on the blog. So I'm going to be sewing this. Now this one, there is not a kit. This one, you would get the B Bundle Limited Edition Color Fat Quarter Bundle and Background Fat Quarter Bundle. And then you would buy this. So this is not a kit, but you can download this and just buy it all at Fat Quarter Shop. Everything's in stock. The border is sold out temporarily. It'll be back in like a week. Now, this is my kit. This one has so much fabric that it doesn't even hardly fit. So, this is my kit. And with the leftovers, I will make scrappy blocks. My backing is also in here. That's why it's so full. So, this is the Prairie Home Sampler Quilt Along. There is a blog post with all of this information starting in March. Now the ones I'm going to show you now, we really just have pictures. It's okay. No. Oh. Yeah, okay. So the next one is the Scrappy Americana. This is just a draft. So this is going to be a pattern that will be out in March. It is a Lori Holt pattern, and it is so cool. It is all using foundation paper, or we wrote it both ways. So basically, let me see. We give you the foundation paper way or the traditional paper way. We need to add the block photos. But we're just like at the beginning of this, but we're going to add block photos to make it a little bit clearer. But basically, it tells you what paper you need. And all of these, these are like all of these little things in the red are blocks. The white is, well, actually all the red is basically a block of fabric. And then the reverse on the background. And then the same thing, you can see the blocks easier in the blue. When this comes out in March, I'm going to sew it. We can do a sew along. We have not planned that sew along because we haven't even finished the pattern. This is a draft. So I'm planning that. This is the new fabric collection called Americana that's coming out in January or February or March or something. March. So I probably won't even start this till like April or May. The next quilt is our charity quilt. And more information on this quilt will be in the next live stream.
Yes.
Friday, January 18th. We will have a special guest named Sam Benesh. He is a Make-A-Wish alumni, and he is going to talk about his experience with Make-A-Wish from a child to now as an adult and working with them, and talk a lot about the charity. So this you can pre-buy. Hold on, we'll hold it up. And the charity quilt this year is going to be a lot simpler. So you can see it's a lot less complicated because we want to get donations up. So you can pre-order this quilt kit now at Fat Quarter Shop. The patterns will be free on our site, and we have started our donation page. So we have the donation page linked on our site, on our blog, and it will be in this video. And we are hoping to get our donations up this year. So that is on my sewing list. What's going to be different about it is it's only going to be 2 months. Month 1 will be here and month 2 will be here. Very simple. The next quilt is something I saw that I just wanted to make. It's Corey Yoder's. The pattern is available now. So I bought the pattern. I bought the paper version. We also sell the PDF version. And let me show you. To make this quilt, we're not kidding it. You need 2 bloom layer cakes, and you need 1 panel. So I have 2 bloom layer cakes starched, 1 panel, and the background from the collection. No, this is a Bella Solid, 9900-200. It's the Bella Solid. It's in here. Now, what's beautiful about this kit, and the reason I wanted to make it, first of all, I love this fabric. You cut the layer cake down, so those are just blocks. You cut the panel down, and then you just end up sewing squares together. So this is just literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 80 squares. That's it. So I am excited about this. It's kind of like a cheater quilt, but this would just matches my house. I couldn't resist, so I'm putting this on my list for when the fabric comes out, which will be like April. So I'll probably, I'll show it to you in April or May, something like that. But it's basically, I just bought what was on the back of the pattern, which is 2 layer cakes, 1 panel, the background fabric, the color. She used 9900-200, and then it's just binding and backing. This is just decoration. The border, there is no border on the quilt. Of course, you could add one. The next quilt in my book is called Strippy Spools. And this is an It's So Emma pattern that is coming out later in the year. And I loved this collection by Camille Ross Kelly. So it's the summertime collection. We used a Bella Solid. And so this I'm going to sew. And we were going to have a sew along. And we'll probably do like 2 spools, 2 big spools a month, 2, something like that. We haven't planned it exactly, but I'm going to make it exactly like this. So that we will have a kit for. You can click to be notified on the kit now. It will be coming out in April. So the just so you know, the Bella Solid we used is color 200. This aqua right here is color 169. It uses a jelly roll And it is an It's So Emma pattern, and I will be sewing it in March, April. The notebook, you can purchase the notebook. This is a notebook, and then these papers right here you can purchase. The next is Designer Mystery 2025. Also Core Yoder, same fabric collection. Now, I showed you the 2024 Designer Mystery. This is 2025. You can pre-order. It starts in June 2025. So I will be sewing it and making it. And I don't think I'm going to do videos or anything like that. It's just going to be me sewing for fun. And just as a peek of it, this is a peek that you haven't seen yet. So I'll be sewing that. The next two are mystery. This is a mystery. The next two are also mystery, so I cannot show.
How much do you want?
I think you should show the top. I think you should show the top left. Sorry, we have to refold it because I don't want to show too much. This is going to be the Up on the Rooftop mystery, which is a free Christmas pattern. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah. Okay, just show the middle or something. We're trying to figure out what we can show you. This one you can click to be notified when it comes in stock. And we're showing you just the top. Oh my gosh, Jordan yeah. Thank you, Jordan. You just saved the day. So the top says ho, ho, ho. I can show you that. That's what you can see. This is a cross weave. This is the Vanessa Gertzen Pine and Berry collection. And then there's one brown right here that's from a different collection. And I think you're going to really like working with the cross weave. I think it's just really pretty. It is a little bit darker in person than it's showing on screen. So this is going to be summer 2025 at Fat Quarter Shop. Free pattern. You can buy the kit. And you can pre-buy the kit, and you can also pre-buy the kit for this one, which is going to be the Autumn Nights Mystery. It's using the Agatha Road collection by Fig Tree that's coming out in the summer. So this will be over the summer. And then the last one is the one that we have the least information on because we just designed it yesterday. So we have a Jolly Bar Book 5 coming out. That is coming out in April. So, like June or July, we're going to do a sew along, and this is how my paper looks. TBD. So, that's what I have for 2025, guys. And I'm going to be transparent here and tell you that for 2025, I was like, I'm going to do less. I'm going to cut back. I'm going to do less. I'm not going to do scrappy. I'm going to just chill. Well, you can see I didn't. I cannot resist it. I cannot help myself from just creating. And so I try to do less and I can't. Okay, so now I'm going to answer questions. I'm curious whether you will be doing the Indian summer and autumn quilt with Peace and Plenty. It seems right up your alley with paper piecing. Okay, so I am not familiar with that. Somebody will email me the name of that and I will look into it because I have not heard of it. When are the 108 backings coming in? Okay, so good news on that. Some have already arrived, and some are coming like February. So they're starting to trickle in. Each collection is like different dates, so it would be impossible for me to tell you exactly which one. I want to do the stitch along for Christmas vintage. Wish I would have just bought the kit. Can I still buy the bundle? Okay. Vintage Christmas, there will be more kits. We have everything in stock except one SKU. We're waiting on that one SKU to come. As soon as it comes, we'll cut more, and we'll just keep cutting more. It's just with so many, it's got like 50 SKUs in it. So when we run out of one SKU, it just delays everything. What machine do I use for sewing my blocks? Okay, we're going to do a blog post on this in 2025. And we're going to do a blog post where we talk about my sewing setup at work and my sewing setup at home, and we're going to take pictures of that. At home, I use a Juki 2010Q. At home, is that what I said?
Yeah.
At home, that's what I use. At work, I use an industrial Juki. I would call Juki junkies. They know exactly what I use at home and what I use at work. I did not buy the industrial from them, but David was very nice and helped me get it. Like, he helped me with all kinds of questions I had. So what do I prefer? I prefer the industrial one at work, but I prefer filming at home because at home I can be around my kids. I would like to have the industrial at home, but it doesn't have drawers for all my thread and stuff, and I just cannot justify buying one more thing. I've spent enough money. The Quilted Snowman backing, I'm not sure when that's going to ship, probably February. This next question, I have an answer for you. I actually followed up with Moda. Sonia is asking when Moda Blockhead starts in 2025. It has not been planned yet. Also, Socialites 3 has not been planned yet or scheduled yet. And the reason why for our end for Socialites is we have to find a collection that is perfect for it. And we haven't found that collection yet. When we find the collection that works perfectly with our vision and what we are designing and what we want to present to you, we will do that. Will the SKUs for Lori Holt's new fabric choices for Vintage Christmas be available somewhere? When will the hometown holiday? Okay, so number one, that. Okay, let me take it one at a time. Did we list the SKUs for this? I don't think we did. So Vintage Christmas, we did not list the SKUs because it's just too much and we're doing it as a quilt kit. So you'll have to wait for the quilt kit to come back. Hometown Holiday Latte will be available probably next week. So Riley Blake, I order their fabric daily. Every day I place an order. Moda, every day, place an order. So basically, if it runs out one day, it's coming back as soon as it's out. As soon as they get my order and get it shipped to me, unless it's back ordered, but I don't think that's back ordered. This is a great question. Kristen says, are you supposed to starch the right side or the wrong side of the fabric? Does it matter? My answer is it doesn't matter because I soak my fabric all the way through. So it doesn't matter because if you're going to do it lightly, I don't know, I would just starch the right side. That's just my answer. When is the 108 Sunbonnet Sioux fabric from A Walk on the Prairie coming in stock? I would look on our site. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Will there be 2025 sheets for the Lori Holt binder? Okay, yes. So Lori has lots of papers going on. She has these papers, which are the quilt binder papers. We will have more, I think they're coming today or tomorrow. She has a 2025 planner type papers. We're getting a few more of those back in stock, but since it's already 2025, we're not gonna like have a bunch of those, but I'm using those. Am I going to make bigger square in a square paper? Probably not. Back to the house temperature. Did I use triangle paper? Absolutely, and that triangle paper size is noted in the pattern. I could measure it though real quick to see what it is. It's been a while. Happy New Year. How hard is the woven? Which woven? Woven Star is easy. I thought you meant woven fabric. Woven Star is like so easy. It's H200 triangle paper. Would love to see more paper piecing packs in the Sew Sampler box. That's great feedback. Can we make the Star Climber without the paper? Nope. You have to have the paper. What kind of trays? Those are melamine trays, and we found them on Etsy, and we bought them directly from the lady. We'll find the name, but we sell them on our site. So if you just search melamine tray, we have 3 that are sewing related and 2 that are Christmas related. So search melamine tray, and you'll find them. What did Kevin think of the sleigh? Oh, I think he was fine with it. It wasn't as big as I thought. Okay, her name is Poppekins. Poppekins. Kevin liked the sleigh. He didn't have to put it together because Peyton did it. Because I was like, Peyton, you gotta help me out, dude. You gotta help me. You gotta put this sleigh together. So he put it together, and then he was like, Mom, I think I need to spray it off with a water hose. I was like, no, it's supposed to look like that. He was like literally about to get a water hose out, and I was like, oh my God, you're gonna ruin my new sleigh. So yes, he liked my sleigh. It's not too bad. The B Bundle Limited Edition colors will be back in stock any day. Those are coming out any day. Is there a video tutorial for Woven Star? Yes, and it's live already, right? The pink cup is coming in stock in March. This we put online yesterday, and there's like 2 of these here in the building, and I have one. This is a great question. Well, there's also another question I want to answer that's related to this. When I'm doing foundation paper, my preference is before, can I see that one right there? Yeah. This is a question I got separately. Before I put these into blocks, I take the paper off. That is a personal preference. But I take the paper off. So that is one question that I did want to answer. Another question I got is, when I finish a quilt, do I move the pages from this binder? Yes, so we have 3 binders going. We have a 2022 binder, a 2023 binder, and a 2024 binder, and now we have one that will, so basically for that year, we keep everything in one binder. So we have another binder that as I finish the blocks or the quilt, because Teresa sews most of my blocks into quilts, it will move to a different binder. Now, I think that's really complicated, and at home, y'all don't need to do that. But for work, because it's not just me, I have like a team of people who are doing stuff with me. For them to be able to find it, it has to be organized. What piecing of shade of gray Arthil is recommended? Okay, I'm going to give you my recommendation. Let me move this. Okay, so color 2000 is what I use 100% of the time. If I was going to use a gray, I would use 2600. That's what it looks like. If you want white, that's 2024 or 2021. Yeah, okay. You can't tell the difference in them. This is 2024, this is 2021, this is 2600, this is 2000. I had that memorized because I order these every day. I use color 2000, but you would want to take your thread, can I see a navy fabric from that second bin? Sorry. We got to show a photo of that whole stack. It's going to look, okay, yeah, right there, that's good. Oh, I can't show that as block. Sorry, keep going. Right there. Now, if I was making a quilt that had everything as a background, you want to lay your thread on there, and you might want something a little bit darker with this. But I would lay it on here. For me, if I'm making this as the backing set, I'm just using color 2000. If I'm making it as a whole quilt top and I've got a sashing that's super dark, then I'm gonna worry about it. But I just use color 2000. The original Cozy Christmas fabric is called Cozy Christmas. And if it is in stock at Riley Blake, it is on our site. And I keep all of that restocked. The white on white does keep selling out, but I keep reordering it by the hundreds and hundreds of yards. Some of the SKUs are in print and some of the SKUs are out of print. The Prairie Home Sampler is not in the Prairie Home book. That will come on our blog and our website when that releases. How long is the registration for the Valentine's box open? Number one, it's open until it sells out. If it doesn't sell out, then it just stays open forever because it's not sold out. So it just depends on how sales are going. There will be a free Valentine pattern this year. That's not in my book. I had to cut some stuff, but we're gonna sew it on the video. Yeah. So technically, it is gonna end up going in my book, but yeah, we'll add a page for it later. Thank you to Carol T for the live stream. She says for the super chat. She says thank you, Fat Quarter Shop. I love the live streams. Did I go to the Robert Earl King concert? I did. I loved it. I didn't like the place. It was, no, I don't go to concerts. It's not a thing for me. I don't want to be around people. That's like a true statement. I'll tell you some funny stories at the end. I didn't like the acoustics of the place it was out. It was very noisy, and like there was these people around me, and they're just like talking, and I'm like, I'm trying to listen to the Gringo Honeymoon. Can you just shut up? Anyway, Kevin was even getting annoyed, and Kevin is super calm. He was like, this is really annoying. So we enjoyed seeing him. The band is so talented. I love his music, but people were talking, and it really distracted me. So I'm old. And I have old people problems, and that would be that. But I did love it. I'm glad I went. I don't have any other concerts planned. I really don't. I don't do much. Okay, this is a great question. Leanne Olson, what are my favorite backgrounds that I love best now? My favorite backgrounds that I love, my very favorite is 20708-36. That is a random SKU that was designed by Stacy Itsu like 5 years ago. I loved it, and I just keep buying it in bulk and having it reprinted. I also love coriander seeds. I like color 200 and color 60 of Bella. And we now have any bolt that we sell a lot of. There's like 25 to 30 of them now that we're selling as full bolts. You can just type in Fat Quarter Shop full bolt. The 15% is already calculated in it, and that's already discounted. I have several full bolts at home. I have the 20708-36. I have 2 Bella Solids, the 2 I just listed. I have a coriander seeds, the one that I mentioned earlier. And there is some random SKU that I have. So I'm not sure, but I prefer white. Thank you to Susanna Pastoric. She says, I have to make 3 quilts for charity, twin size. What is an easy pattern I could use? You know the one that's the Cheater a Bloom, the one, what is it called? Handiwork? That would be really good. Okay, so I'll tell you some funny stories now. Oh, wait. Oh, thank you to Tarkina Mayer. Thank you so much for your basic of the month. I stocked up on grunge for blenders and 108 backing when it was the monthly deal. Yes, thank you. Okay, funny stories. Okay, these are just random. So from Christmas, I would say my favorite thing was when Christopher got his jersey, because it says "See Jolly." I loved that. I thought that was a great creative. I felt really guilty though because Peyton didn't have one, and so I don't know if he got one in middle school and we missed it, but anyway, that I felt guilty about that. But my sister-in-law, she's a party planner, and so she came. Did I talk about the room decor? Mm-hmm. I did. Okay, so we're going to dinner tomorrow night, and I made reservations, and there's 12 of us. And so I wanted to reserve it where we're in a room because I don't get to see my niece and nephew very often. And there's 12 of us. So it's my family, my mom, my niece, my nephew, and my niece's boyfriend, and my brother and his wife. So we want to be where tonight we're having dinner together, but tomorrow also, because we only get to see each other like a little bit. So we want it to be like where we're just by ourselves. So I made reservations at this like really nice restaurant that Kevin and I love, and I know my brother's gonna love it. Like, I'm not sure about my sister-in-law because I don't really know her food taste, but I know what my brother likes. So he's gonna love it. I think everybody's gonna like it, but I know my brother is especially gonna love it. And so my sister-in-law, she starts texting me pictures of dresses, and she's like, this is what I'm gonna wear. We're gonna all dress up. We're gonna wear green and white. And I was like, have you met me? Have you met me? Have you met me? Like, I am not going to dress up. So I think her and Emma have plotted against me. I'm not kidding. I think she doesn't watch the live stream, but I don't care if she does. She could totally listen to this. But I think that her and Emma, I think Emma has plotted against me because she doesn't think I dress up enough. And I think she told my sister-in-law, hey, I need my mom to dress up so we can get a nice picture. Can you make her dress up? I swear to God, that's what's happened. I'm going to see. I'm going to ask them. But I just think it's so funny because she's like, you have to dress up. And I was like, do you know? Like, have you met any of us? Anyway, it's so funny. So that was kind of fun. For New Year's, I went to bed at 11 o'clock. And my sister-in-law was texting me. And I was like, girl, I'm in bed. I am in bed. I was out like a light. I didn't do anything for New Year's. For 2025, fun things I have planned are we're going to next week. A couple of us are going to the Dallas market where we buy fun stuff for the store. I'm taking Emma to Cabo for spring break with some friends. Well, like there's a bunch of people going, but I'm just taking her and one other girl. Emma wants to go to Europe for her. She wants to go to Europe for her graduation gift. I'm like, okay, I don't know. We had to do a graduation gift. I told her, I was like, I'm not taking you. If you want to go, my brother can take you and his wife, or Kevin can take you. I'm not going to Europe because I don't want to be on a plane that long because I'm old. And I just like decided I'm just old. I'm not doing all this stuff. And Will's going to Japan. I don't even know if I've talked about that yet. Have I talked about that? Oh, he came home from school the first day of school in September and was like, Mom, I want to go to Japan. And I was like, what? And he's like, I'm in my computer science class and I guess certain classrooms got different trips. I don't know. And I said, you want to go where? He goes, it's going to be the best thing ever. Now, y'all have to know, Will is very shy. He doesn't talk. He's like Kevin Jolly. He doesn't talk. He could just go the rest of his life without not talking to anybody. He's like, well, I mean, I guess I'm like that too. But he didn't talk. And I was like, are you being serious? Like, you really want to go to Japan? And he's like, Mom, I really want to go. And I was like, okay, so this is what I do. I say, we always rate dinner. So at the end of dinner, I'll say 1 to 10. Everybody has to rate the dinner. They have to rate the dinner and the drink. Because even if it's water, because my kids get these funny like mocktails, like pineapple. And so that's what we do at the end of every dinner. You have to rate the dinner. So I said, well, you got to rate how bad you want to go. And he was like a 10. I was like, are you serious? So anyway, he's going to Japan. Parents can go, I'm not going. I was like, I want nothing to do with that. Like, no chance am I going. And so then I went to Peyton because they're twins. And they only had 10 spots or something. And I said, well, Peyton, if they don't all fill, would you like me to sign you up to go? He's like, no. And I was like, oh, thank God, because that's so expensive. I was like, thank God, only one of them wants to go. Emma's going to go to college. She's going to TCU. I think that's all I have planned for the year. I don't have anything big planned, but Denise says she will chaperone him. Girl, he will. Oh, Jordan wants to chaperone. You do not want to go with a bunch of high school kids. You are crazy. You would not go to Japan.
He wants to. It's on our bucket list to go back.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it has nothing to do. Okay, so let me be clear. It has nothing to do with the countries. I want to go to Hawaii. I don't want to get on any kind of plane that is longer than 3 hours. Like Cabo, we're really pushing it. But it's a senior trip. A lot of the girls are going from drill team. A lot of the moms are going. And I'm not sending my kid somewhere. If she really wants to go, that's fine. But I'm not sending her alone. So, I am so excited that you guys joined me. I'm so excited for 2025. And if you have any questions on any of the quilts or anything I talked about, let me know. Of course, throughout the year, I'll be showing you my progress. I will, of course, add to and take away from different things throughout the year. If you have anything you would like me to do, let me know. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks where we have our special guest from Make-A-Wish. So I'll see you then.